It's Tuesday stitch time. Grab your hook and yarn. We're making something cozy, cute and warm. New stitch, new trick, let's learn today. Easy steps, I'll guide the way. Whether you're new or stitching pro, come along, let's hook and go.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Pseudo's Crochet and More. This is your host Crystal. I do have my co-host behind me and my other one is in here as well with me today. You won't be able to see them because I'm behind the camera today for a stitch tutorial, Tuesday stitch tutorial. Today is a variation on the moss stitch. It's a very easy one row repeat after the foundation, the first row. It's a one row repeat. You will need some stitch markers if you don't know how to find the turning chain at the end of the row. So you'll want to make sure you have that. Any hook, yarn, whatever you want to use. It is a great stitch for anything. So let's go ahead and begin. I've already got my 4-weight yarn here. This is the Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn. I've been using this a lot lately to show you guys stitches, and I'm using a nice met hook in the 5.0. I should be using a little bit higher than this, but I'm using the other hooks that are 5.5 and 6 in other projects right now. So I will be using a 5mm with this is a 4-weight 100% acrylic yarn. Again, this is the Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn, if you're wondering. This was a yarn that was clearanced out at Ollie's while I was in Virginia. So this one is a stitch multiple of 2 plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and chain up 20 and then add 1 for 21. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and chain up 21 and then we'll start the stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Alright, so I have 21 chains here to start. I would turn the light on, so I hope this isn't too dark for you when you see this, because if I turn the light on, it clears off of this metal, and it takes a while for it to focus. Now it's focused. So I will leave it on, but I've got 21 chains here. You can count the chains however you want. You want to go by the little bump at the top or the bottom. Either one counts as one chain. Again, it's a multiple of 2 plus 1. Now, if you're using stitch markers, you're going to want to mark the stitch right below the one on the hook, this one here. I do not have any stitch markers readily available to me, so I'm going to improvise and use hopefully it doesn't catch on this. I'm going to use a little twist tie to mark that stitch. Like I said, you can improvise. I've shown you guys in the last tutorial how you can use a plastic darning needle to mark this stitch. I'm going to see if this works. I don't know if it will or not, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to mark. No, I'm not going to use that. That's too cumbersome. I don't want to. Oh, I thought I had extra stitch markers on the side over here. Maybe not. I don't know. Alright. Okay. Well, I'll show you how you can find it if you're not going to use a stitch marker. But we're going to go ahead and count to the third chain from the hook and place a single crochet. So this is 1. That's 2. And into the next one is 3. We're going to single crochet. That's just inserting the hook. Now I've been grabbing both loops. You can just grab the one loop, the one on here. You don't have to grab 2. I'm gonna pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all loops on the hook, so that's 2 loops. There's a single crochet. Now we're going to yarn over, because in the next stitch we're going to put a double crochet. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to grab both of the loops if I can, put the hook through, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There's the double crochet. Now I did forget to mention that the skipped chain 2 counts as a half double crochet, and that's why we need to mark that, because that does count as a stitch and throughout the stitch pattern. Then we're going to, in the next stitch right next to it, we're going to do a single crochet. So that's just inserting the hook into the chain, pulling up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. There's the second single crochet. Yarn over into the next chain. We're going to double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The next one is going to be a single, so it's going to alternate single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, all the way to the last 2 stitches, and I will show you how to end the row 1. I'm going to put another single in. If you're already at the end, you can fast forward to see how to end the row, or you can just watch along. Yarn over, we're going to do a double crochet into the next one. This yarn really does need like a 5.5 or 6 millimeter crochet hook, but again, I'm using them in another project, so. Okay, and then single crochet, because we just did a double. And then a double into the next one, because we just did the single. So again, it's alternating singles and doubles until the last. I just did that wrong. That should have been a double, because that was a single, and I just did a half double instead. Whoops. All right. Back it up. There we go. Nobody's perfect. And I'm not going to take that out of there, so that's a double crochet. Next one's a single. Next one's a double. And again, you'll just repeat this down to the end of your starting chain. And then a single. To the next one. Double into the next. A single into the next. And it does bring down that double crochet. It does shrink it a little bit, so it might be a little difficult to see if you've done a double or a single. But if you see this little V, well, let me move my hook here. See this little V right here? That denotes that it was a single. So the next one should have something that looks different. I'm trying to like that. So that was a single. That's a double. That's a single. We're going to do a double again in the next one. I hope you all are enjoying my Tuesday stitch tutorial videos. If there's any kind of stitch that you'd like me to do a video on, just let me know in the comment section. Or if you've used this stitch before, it could be called something else. There are always stitches that have different names, but they're the same exact stitch. So this is just a variation of the moss stitch. Okay, so we just did a double. So the next one is a single. Next one is going to be a double. Next one is a single. And always make sure you're going into the right stitch, because it won't end right if you double up into a stitch. Now we have 2 stitches remaining on from the 2 chains remaining. So we're going to put a double crochet into the next one. We just did a single. And in the last one, it's going to be a half double crochet, because that's how you started the row. So it starts and ends with a half double crochet, whether it's a chain 2 or the actual half double crochet stitch. So we're going to do a double crochet into the next one. And then a half double crochet to end it. So the difference between a double crochet and a half double, you still yarn over, still go ahead and get a loop pulled up. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops instead of just the 2 to do the half double crochet. I'm waiting for that to focus. And that ends row 1. So it's going to look a little funky because some of the stitches are going to be a little bit higher, but it will, when you do the single after the double, it does pull it down. So you'll just have to make sure that you're paying attention when you're doing row 2. So row 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 2. This counts as your first half double crochet. Again, if you're new to crochet or cannot find the top of the turning chain, which is this one right below the hook, you'll want to go ahead and mark that. Turn your work. And then we're going to skip the first half double crochet stitch because that counts as your first one. We did a double crochet on the previous row right here, so it's going to be a single crochet into the top of this one. And the next one was a single crochet, so we're going to double crochet. And just repeat that all the way down to the last 2 stitches. So the next one was a double from the previous row, so we're going to single crochet. Next one was a single, so we're going to double crochet. Next one will be a single crochet. Next one will be a double crochet. Single. Double. So whatever you did on the previous row will be the opposite stitch on the next one. Next one will be single. Next one will be double because it was a single on the first row. This is a reversible pattern, so it doesn't matter which side is the side that you favor. There's no wrong or right side to this pattern, and it does give a little bit of a design. As you can see with the double crochets, it's pushing out that bottom part to make a little bump. You'll see it a little bit more as you're working more rows with this pattern. Single. This next one is double. And if you stop working on this pattern and you pick it back up again, you'll just need to remember to look to see what the previous row stitch was, and then you'll know, oh, this was a double. Okay, I need to do a single. So you don't get it, because otherwise it won't come out the same. And then a double. And then a single. And then a double. A single. Now this can be hard to miss, but you do want to make sure that you find the first single crochet for row 1, but the last one, the last stitch before the turning chain from the previous row, because this can get skipped. So we just did a single, so now we're going to go ahead and do a double. And I don't know if you hear that, but that's Brownie Bear, my little co-host. Okay, so we still have one more stitch that needs to be placed, which is the half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to find the top of that chain 2, which is going to be this that's popping out right here. That's it right there. It's going to be kind of hard to get both loops. Just do the best you can. If you used a stitch mark, it'll be easier to find both of them because it'll be marked. I did not, so it's going to be a little bit tougher for me. You can just kind of estimate where the other loop's at on the other side if you want to, or just go through that one. Pull up your loop and go yarn over and go through all 3. Now this will get worked out to where it gets even. It's just going to look weird on the first couple rows because you're going into that turning chain from the starting chain here. And just repeat. I'm going to do one more row we'll do a couple more rows, and you can probably see here on the bottom how that double crochet gets pushed out. So it's giving a little bit of a bumpy vibe. You'll see it on the other side when I turn as well. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip that first half double crochet, and we're going to single crochet into the top of the double crochet from the previous row. Then we're going to double crochet because it was a single. Single crochet. I think I might call this the bumpy moss stitch because it does give a little bit of a bumpy feel to it. Gives it a little bit of a texture. So I'm going to call it the bumpy moss stitch. I don't know what other people have called it, but that's what I'm going to call it. Again, it's just a different variation of the moss stitch. Okay. And double. Single. If you've ever used this stitch before, let me know what you've used it for. Did you make blankets with it? Did you make a scarf with it? Did you make a hat? Did you make, what did you use this stitch for? If you've never used it, let me know if you plan on using it for anything. I think I'm going to use it for a blanket stitch. And I will let you guys know when that's ready. I'm working on a blanket pattern with the Premier Basic neon colors. I will be having a pattern for sale on my merch site, and right now I do believe you're only going to need, and again it all depends on what size you make it too. I will have a tutorial for that soon. Yesterday's song was in anticipation that I will have that out this month because it's a very fast working pattern. So I'm really hoping that I can get that out to you guys this month. I will probably put the pattern up for sale on my merch site before I actually release it. So if you want to purchase it, any proceeds earned from that will go back into the channel. I am using all Premier yarns for it, and the main yarn being with the new neon yarn is the one that I'm using. Plus Premier Basic Black and Premier White Basic. Alright, so next we'll do a single. I'm not going to show you guys anything about it until I actually have it. I'm still working on it, so it won't be till I'm finished so I can give you exact amounts of how much you'll need to make the blanket. But again, if you make it a different size, you will either need more yarn or less yarn depending on how big you're making it. So, and it's not worked the traditional width to height. It's going to be worked height to width. So, yeah. So there's a little bit of information that I have been keeping from you guys. I've been trying to tell you that I've been working on it. I posted on the Facebook group page a picture of my hook in the yarn, in the black yarn, and saying that I was getting ready to start on my new project. But I don't want to give too much out because I don't want somebody trying to take my idea and, you know, saying it's their own idea. So I created the pattern myself. I did not use anybody else's pattern. So I'll be able to show you guys the tutorial and all that goodness. Alright, so we're coming down to the last stitch, which is a double crochet into the top of the single. And then we got to make sure we get the half double crochet, which is going to be these little two, this little V right here is the top of the chain 2. Also, if you guys want me to use a different color when I do tutorials, just let me know. I'm trying not to use black for tutorials because it is hard to see. White's pretty easy to see. Colors, I don't know about multicolors because sometimes depending on the stitch itself, it can get lost. And I don't want you guys getting lost on tutorials, so, okay. I can't get this to work for me. Alright, let's try that again. Sometimes you get through the first loop and it's hard to get that second loop, especially if it's been pulled tight. We gotta make sure we get the last stitch where it's supposed to be. There we go. Okay. Okay, half double. Go ahead and pull through. And that is row 3. So again, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm going to try to get this close up. You can see how the double crochets are kind of popping out a little bit. So I'm going to call this the Bumpy moss stitch. And you can see here a little bit better with them popping out. And it gives it kind of a bumpy feel, so people who like texture, or kids that like to fiddle with things and they feel that, they may like it. Alright, I'm going to do one more row. I know I said I wasn't doing that many here. We'll do one more. Chain 2, just to make sure you guys have got it down. Alright, so we skip that first half double. We go into the next one and do a single crochet, because it was a double. And then double crochet, single crochet, and double crochet. And it could be that it's popping out more because I'm using a smaller hook. So if you want that feeling and you're not getting it on the recommended size hook for the yarn, I would say go down a hook size, whether it's, like a 0.5 down or a whole hook size. So instead of maybe using a 6 and you not get that bumpy look, you could drop it down to a 5 to get that texture on this pattern. Alright. I'm hoping to have a video for you guys tomorrow other than the sale for Premier's website. I do like to show you guys that, and again, I've mentioned it in my last one. If you guys want to see any other online sales going on, just let me know and I'll go and let you guys know about any other sales. Right now, I don't think Yarn Inspiration's pretty much done with all their sale right now that they had all month long of March. that was a really long sale. I wish I could have gotten in on it, but I was not able to right now. Because I want to provide you guys with different yarn reviews, but my husband says I have enough yarn. I need to either donate or sell some of the projects that I have finished, blanket-wise, to be able to get more stuff for you guys so I can review it, whether it's yarn, tools, anything crochet related. So now, that's that one. So again, a very easy repeat pattern, one row, great. You could sit and watch TV while working on something, or, you know, adding it to another project to give it something, some extra pizzazz to it. Again, player's choice. I know. That's going to be my catchphrase now. That player's choice. Player's choice. Player's choice. Player's choice. Okay. Next one's a single. Next one's a double. And I will be able to hopefully get you guys more videos this week. My husband is going to be still near home working this week, but he's going to be out of the house a lot more often, so I don't have to feel bad about kicking him out of the office to get some videos done. And my schedule for work is changing, so I'll get off earlier than I have been, so I can hopefully get those done. I liked my old shift, but I needed a change, and I'm hoping that this is going to be what I needed to do, is get off earlier throughout the whole week instead of working 3 10s and then 2 5s, or, you know, things like that. So, all right. So that is the Bumpy Moss Stitch. The Bumpy Stitch. I don't know. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of names for this stitch. I'm just going off of what I'm going to call it. This is a 1-row repeat. So if you like 1-row repeats, something easy that you don't have to stress about remembering, oh, I need to do it this way, this row. This is the same on every row. You start and end with a half double crochet, whether it's a chain 2 or the actual half double crochet, and you're alternating single crochet and double crochet. And I can see a little bit more about the, and it is a pretty tight stitch. And again, it could be because I'm using a 5mm hook. You can try the recommended hook size for the yarn that you want to use this with. And if it doesn't give you that same effect with the double crochet popping out, you could go down a hook size or 2 to get that feeling. So, all right. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, if you like my content and haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe and then the notification bell so you're always aware of when I put out new content. Until next time, I hope you all stay safe, stay warm or cool, and happy crocheting. Bye-bye.